supplies remain critically low in Gaza amid Israeli aid delays. Venezuela deploys 17,000 troops to Colombian border amid U.S. military strikes. Algerian woman on trial in France for rape and murder of schoolgirl. A CBN Bank of Angola signed pact to strengthen financial cooperation. Good afternoon. Welcome to The World in 30 Minutes on Politics and Business Television. I'm Fatima Abubakar Oyibo. Many thanks for joining us. Details of this news stories and more content to come after the short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Despite a week-old ceasefire agreement, humanitarian supplies in Gaza remain dangerously scarce as Israel continues to restrict aid deliveries. The United Nations report that only 216 of the agreed 600 daily aid trucks have reached their destinations between October 10th and 16th. Citing prolonged Israeli inspections and logistical bottlenecks, food, water, medical equipment, and therapeutic nutrition are in especially short supply, leaving millions of Palestinians in dire need. The situation has sparked international concern, with aid agencies warning that the enclave's remaining food stocks could last only 2 weeks at most. Israel has defended the reduced aid flow by pointing to delays in recovering the bodies of Israeli captives buried under rubble, further complicating the humanitarian response. Meanwhile, the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt remains close to the movement of people, intensifying the crisis. Political tensions have also escalated, with U.S. President Donald Trump threatening Hamas over alleged violations of the ceasefire terms, as the death toll in Gaza surpasses 67,000 since October 2023. Global observers are urging Israel to open all border crossings and expedite aid delivery. The UN and other international bodies continue to call for immediate action to prevent further humanitarian catastrophe. President Donald Trump has issued a stern warning to Hamas, threatening military action if the group continues internal killings in Gaza. In a post on Truth Social, Trump stated if Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza, which was not the deal, he will have no choice but to go in and finish them. His remarks follow reports of Hamas targeting rival gangs and alleged collaborators during a fragile ceasefire, raising concerns about violation of the truce agreement. Trump's comments mark a shift from earlier statements in which he appeared to tolerate Hamas' crackdown on criminal groups. Now he insists the group must disarm and adhere strictly to ceasefire terms. The threat of U.S. intervention has sparked international concern, with observers warning that further escalation could derail humanitarian efforts and destabilize the region. Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch have strongly criticized the decision to ban Israeli fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv from attending their Europa League match against Aston Villa at Villa Park. The restriction imposed by Birmingham's Safety Advisory Group, based on police intelligence, cited public safety concerns following past clashes involving Maccabi supporters. Starmer labeled the move the wrong decision, emphasizing that anti-Semitism must not be tolerated and urging authorities to ensure safe access for all fans. Badenoch echoed the sentiment, calling the ban shameful, while Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar described it as a national disgrace. The controversy has sparked broader debate over fan rights and security protocols at international sporting events. In another development, Britain's King Charles III and Queen Camilla will undertake a landmark state visit to the Vatican from October 22 to 23, 2025, marking their first meeting with Pope Leo since his election in May. The visit comes during the Catholic Church special Jubilee year and follows the death of Pope Francis earlier this year. The royal couple will join Pope Leo in an ecumenical prayer service at the Sistine Chapel, a symbolic gesture aimed at fostering unity between the Church of England and the Catholic Church. This historic moment marks the first time since the Reformation that the heads of both churches will pray together. Venezuela has deployed 17,000 soldiers to its border with Colombia in response to escalating U.S. military activity in the Caribbean. The move follows a series of naval strikes by the United States targeting alleged drug smuggling vessels, which have reportedly resulted in at least 27 deaths. Venezuelan officials said the troop deployment is part of a broader military drill aimed at safeguarding national sovereignty and deterring foreign intervention. General Michel Valderez, commander in the border state of Táchira, confirmed the deployment, emphasizing the need for heightened security amid fears of a potential U.S.-led regime change. The drills include rapid response units, drones, and river patrols, with operations focused on border states such as Zulia and Táchira. President Nicolás Maduro's government has also accused opposition figures of colluding with foreign powers to destabilize the country. The U.S. has positioned several warships in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico as part of an anti-narcotics campaign, officially targeting Venezuela's alleged role in regional drug trafficking. However, critics argue the military buildup may be a pretext for deeper intervention. As tensions rise, international observers are closely monitoring the situation, warning that further escalation could destabilize the region. France is gripped by the trial of Dabia Benkard, a 27-year-old Algerian woman accused of raping, torturing, and murdering 12-year-old Lola Daviet in Paris. The case, which shocked the nation, began after Lola's body was discovered in a trunk in the building where her parents worked as caretakers. Investigators allege that Benkard used scissors and a box cutter to assault the schoolgirl before binding and killing her. The incident occurred in 2022 and Benkard was arrested shortly after Lola went missing. The brutality of the crime has sparked widespread outrage and renewed debate over immigration and mental health policies in France. As the trial unfolds at the Paris Assize Court, Lola's parents have urged politicians to stop exploiting their daughter's death for political gain. The case has drawn international attention and reignited calls for justice reform, with many watching closely to see how the French legal system handles such a harrowing case. You're still watching The World in 30 Minutes live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, Pakistan-Afghanistan tensions escalate as ceasefire nears end. Stay with us. Welcome back. Violent protests broke out in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, as demonstrators opposed the government's newly proposed political charter. The unrest centered around the parliament complex, where protesters, many aligned with youth-led movements, clashed with police forces using tear gas and batons to disperse the crowd. The demonstrators argued that the charter fails to reflect the democratic reforms they fought for during last year's mass uprising that led to the ousting of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The interim government, led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, has called for unity and urged political parties to endorse the July National Charter. However, critics say the document overlooks key demands for transparency and accountability. The clashes underscore deep divisions in Bangladesh's political landscape as the country navigates its post-Hasina transition. Meanwhile, tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan have intensified as a 48-hour ceasefire is set to expire at 1300 GMT on Friday. The truce, brokered after days of deadly cross-border clashes, has been strained by a suicide car bombing in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region and continued unrest near the border. Explosions were also reported in Kabul, raising fears of renewed hostilities once the deadline passes. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif warned that the future of the ceasefire depends on the Taliban's government conduct, stating the ball is in their court. Meanwhile, the Taliban has pledged to honor the truce as long as no one violates it. Unconfirmed reports suggest Qatar may offer to host peace talks, but uncertainty looms as both sides brace for potential escalation. Coming back to Africa, Kenya bid farewell to revered opposition leader Raila Odinga with a state funeral at Nairobi's Nyayo Stadium, drawing tens of thousands of mourners. The 80-year-old former prime minister, affectionately known as Baba, died of a suspected heart attack while receiving treatment in southern India. President William Ruto paid tribute to Odinga's legacy, calling him a movement for change, a movement for justice, for a better and greater Kenya. However, the solemn occasion was marred by chaos as crowds surged towards the coffin, resulting in dozens of injuries. Many mourners collapsed or suffered broken bones in the crush, with some experiencing breathing difficulties. The incident followed deadly unrest the day before when security forces opened fire at Kasarani Stadium to disperse mourners, killing at least 3 people. The back-to-back tragedies have sparked calls for improved crowd control, and accountability rights group condemned the use of force, while Odinga's family urged peaceful remembrance of his life and contributions to Kenya's democratic journey. The Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bank of Angola have signed a landmark memorandum of understanding to deepen bilateral financial and technical cooperation. The agreement, sealed during the 2025 IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., aims to enhance cross-border financial supervision, promote knowledge sharing, and build institutional capacity between the two central banks. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso described the pact as a timely milestone for regional integration, emphasizing Africa's need for stronger partnerships to tackle shared economic challenges. His Angolan counterpart, Manuel Antonio Tiago Diaz, echoed the sentiment, noting that the collaboration will foster regulatory coordination and support sustainable financial and development across both nations. And that wraps up the program, but before we go, the headlines again. Supplies remain critically low in Gaza amid Israeli aid delays. Venezuela deploys 17,000 troops to Colombian border amid U.S. military strikes. Algerian woman on trial in France for rape and murder of schoolgirl. A CBN Bank of Angola signed pact to strengthen financial cooperation. From me, Fatima Abubakar Oyibo, to have a lovely day. Bye for now.